Well, I think the number one name and number one brand in athletics is ESPN, right? So everybody wants a piece of ESPN, including us. But they're generous enough to give us spots that they give us. But you know what? One thing I'll say about ESPN is they don't treat us like a mid-major. They don't treat us like just someone off in the corner that they have to be able to put on TV. They treat us like they want to have us on TV. They love that they get to do maybe some other things that they're not allowed to do in other conferences. We're creative enough to let them do some of those things, and I'm for that. I'm so for with being different. I am so for just be different. Find a way to be different than every other conference so people will want to watch those games, and ESPN's been open to doing that. And I can't thank them enough for doing that, to put the exposure of our conference out there in the open.
I think obviously with all the homes and the cable and digital packages that are out there, that when you're on ESPN, everybody can watch you. And that's big time football. So if you're playing big time football and you have players from your team from out of state, and their moms and dads can sit in their homes wherever they're at, whether they're cold or warm, and watch their baby play football in the MAC, I think that's really good for the conference. And I think that that's one of the reasons why the MAC is one of the up-and-coming conferences, is because of the national exposure and coverage that they get throughout the country.
Yeah, it's a big deal. You know, we have, just even in our incoming freshman class, we have guys from 16 different states. And so, you know, when I was playing and I was in Ohio, my folks were in Seattle, if they didn't come to the game, you know, I could send them a tape recording of the radio. But just even for our guys, for families to be able to watch wherever they are, you know, is a big deal. And then obviously the national exposure is a big deal, you know, in recruiting. And so, you know, ESPN is a big name, obviously, in television, and these guys, you know, want to be the absolute best football players that they can be. And so the exposure and the limelight, you know, I think is something that most guys enjoy.
Our partnership with ESPN is huge. It's huge for our fan base. It's huge for our institutions and the overall visibility of the institution. We had a game a couple years ago against another Mid-American Conference opponent, and that was the most exposure for our institution the entire year. It was like a 3-hour commercial. So it's very valuable to the institution. And it helps recruiting. It's great when somebody that you're recruiting that might be 1,000 miles away from your campus can turn on the TV and watch you play on a Tuesday or Wednesday night.